It's morning at Gutenberg Castle in central Germany. Klaus Fensloff is going to work on an egg in a very unusual way. He rears white-tailed sea eagles, and his efforts are part of a European plan to restore the species to places in which it used to live. One of these places is Scotland, and this programme is about that particular part of the plan, a fascinating story that links Germany, Norway and Scotland. It reveals the private life of one of Europe's most spectacular birds that starts life as a helpless chick and becomes a super predator with a 7-foot wingspan. This fine bird used to be common in northern Europe, but man has ruthlessly persecuted it from Iceland to Greece, from France to Russia. In Scotland, the call of a nesting white-tailed sea eagle was last heard over these cliffs on the island of Skye in 1916. But man exterminated them there, and this story is about how he's changed his mind. We begin in Norway, north of the Arctic Circle, before dawn in midwinter. At this time of year, the night is 14 hours long. Temperatures sink to minus 20 degrees centigrade, and the sea often freezes. Days are short, grey and gloomy. The sea eagle survives here, but only just. It doesn't migrate to areas of more daylight, and therefore has to be finding food from the moment there's any light in the sky. There are other animals here through the punishing winter. Otters have also been on the hunt, and if they've been successful, others will benefit. Gulls and crows scavenge the shoreline, and competition is severe for any food scrap, either the leavings of an otter or fish washed up after having been killed in the ferocious currents of the Norwegian fjords. Ravens, too, here tackling the remains of a Norwegian haddock. They're wary as a result of years of persecution, and it's only after they've arrived that the eagle drops in, cautiously. This is a fine adult. The young ones lack the white tail and yellow bill. As well as fish, they also eat seabirds, particularly eider ducks, rabbits and hares, even animals as big as a swan or a seal. Its food, proved and unproved, has been the key to its fate. And already there are signs of spring. Eiders are displaying. Despite the frozen landscape, the increasing day length encourages courtship. And the ravens respond too. So do the eagles. This display is a familiar sight in North Norway because in all Europe, it's here that the largest population of white-tailed sea eagles still survive, some 500 to 600 pairs. That's 3/4 of the European population. In fact, Norway has the largest population of these birds in the world. Successful breeding will depend on getting enough food this winter. And if they haven't been successful today, they'll conserve their energy and go to roost. Tomorrow, they will search again. Mobbing ravens drive them to the shelter of the trees. They pair for life, can live up to 20 years and stay within a territory of between 20 to 50 square miles. Now they're coming into roost in a safe place, away from their traditional enemy, man. The people here have the same problem as the eagle in finding food and surviving through the long winter. So it's hardly surprising that man has seen the eagle as a competitor for limited resources. On the land, he felt his sheep were threatened, even his children. And throughout Europe, he's waged relentless war on this eagle. Here in Norway, he used an unusual system. A stone hut was built and bait put out nearby. A man would enter the hut in the dark, often in freezing conditions, and next day pull the bait towards a hole in the hut. Then the eagle, desperate for food, would follow the bait until it was right by the hole, to be grabbed by the man hiding inside and killed. Several eagles could be killed in a morning in this way, and the population decreased year by year, here and in Britain, and indeed throughout Europe. But now, fortunately for the eagle, attitudes have changed, and it's legally protected in most countries. Biologists are investigating its food and breeding behaviour. How much of a threat, if any, is it to man? Is the population increasing now as a result of protection, or not? The eagle breeds both inland, in cliffs and trees, and along the coast. In early spring, Harold Missund checks about 35 breeding sites. His activities are a crucial link between Norway and Scotland. It would certainly be a welcome return to have this bird fishing again off the coast of Britain. As the fish and prawns are brought in, there's a sudden abundance of food, and at times up to 30 eagles may gather, a reminder of the potential success of the species given a good chance. The local people now seldom persecute them, and their reputation for sheep and reindeer killing is disappearing. Certainly the human fishermen are quite happy to have these other fishermen alongside, even though they make the arduous business of fishing look so easy. Spring at last. Now, in the very long days, with clear water and abundant food, the eagles are nesting, from the forested mountains inland to the flat islands where the many fishermen live. After the cold grip of winter, this is a time of relaxation and plenty. Eagles' nests are sometimes close to the villages out on the islands. The chick on the nest platform may be threatened because some of the older fishermen still burn nests every year. Old habits and attitudes die hard, though the younger men now mostly accept the eagle as a good neighbour. The parents must find 1/2 to 3/4 pound of food a day for the chick that will be in the nest for 2 months. The next meal could come with the unintentional help of an otter. There seems to be a definite link between otters and eagles, and often eagles' nests and otters' holts are close together. The otter's leftovers, in this case a lump sucker, make easy pickings for the eagle. Gull chicks could also be on the menu, and the parents mob the eagle. A good form of defence is attack. Research, including ringing, is part of a long-term study by the local ornithologists. This scientific approach is in contrast with the old attitudes. Back in the 16th century, there was a bounty paid for killing sea eagles, and their claws were in demand as a remedy for jaundice. In the 19th century, over 61,000 sea and golden eagles were shot in 23 years. For such a big, powerful bird, the young are surprisingly unaggressive, so killing them at the easily accessible nests was no problem in the pre-research days. It's been found that eagles nesting inland breed later than those on the coast, probably because spring reaches here a little later on. Some nests are huge. In one case, more than 3,000 sticks over 6 feet long were counted in a 4-year-old nest. Now the parent carefully feeds the chick, but soon as the chick grows, the food will be simply dumped at the nest and the chick will deal with it on its own. As the various occupants of the various nests continue to grow on a good food supply, Harold Missant goes into action. He's visiting an island where he knows there's a nest with 2 young. With him is a local warden who's been protecting this particular nest. But with his full agreement and a special government licence, Harold will take one, and only one, of the young. And he will do the same at several other specially selected nests in the forests and on the islands. Often only one young survives in a nest, so those being removed represent a natural surplus. Half of the chicks that leave the nest will die before they're 1 year old, an indication of the winter harshness of this place. The chicks are kept at a holding base where Harold ensures that they're in good condition. Soon they will go on a journey that will take them well across Europe in a day. In other words, as fast as possible to minimise stress. An RAF Nimrod is the first and fastest part of the trip. Every summer for 6 years, young eagles have made the journey from Norway to Scotland. Already the osprey, another fish-catching bird of prey, has returned to Scotland, but being a long-range migrant, it achieved this under its own steam. The sea eagle is much less migratory and so needs this kind of help. Arrival at RAF Kinloss, and even eagles need a kind of passport to enter Britain. And the VIP treatment. There's international interest in this project, with the World Wildlife Fund a major supporter. Staff of the Nature Conservancy Council, also very involved with this project, then take them by car right across Scotland to Mallaig on the west coast. Then by boat to the island of Rum. And it's here, at the end of the journey of 12 hours, that a Norwegian white-tailed sea eagle becomes a Scottish white-tailed sea eagle. Their new home, not actually in the famous castle, seems ideal. The whole island of 26,500 acres is a nature reserve, and most important, there's plenty of food. Highland cattle and red deer will provide carcasses, and the island has, like Norway, a good population of fish and seabirds. For example, 100,000 Manx shearwaters nest here, and there are also good numbers of otters and their leftovers. Research has shown that sheep are very rarely eaten, and if they are, the source is usually an already dead animal. Birds from Norway are kept in cages with food dumps nearby. The food helps the already released birds through the winter, which in their first year is a critical time. Since 1975, some 40 sea eagles have been released here on Rum, and Nature Conservancy warden John Love has watched them grow to what is now a breeding age. This is Sula, released in 1976 with almost a full white tail. They can breed after about 5 years, and now there are signs of this happening. Talon grappling in display. And stick carrying, which is a sure sign of interest. The birds from previous years are in contact with recent arrivals still in the cages. Bonds that are formed now may enable the birds to keep together later and to help each other locate food during the winter. For the same reasons, the new arrivals are kept together, and after 10 weeks they can fly, albeit along a wire. After release, they will be independent by Christmas, but they can kill for themselves within a month. After removing the tethers, a hood is used to minimize stress. And at last, freedom. In September 1981, 2 of the birds reared by Klaus Fenslov in the castle in Germany join the Norwegian birds on Rum. So, again, white-tailed sea eagles will soar and call over the cliffs of Scotland, where once they were so common. Certainly they are a fine sight, and perhaps we ought to have them back just to put the record straight. After all, man removed them in the first place. It could also be that their return will help to indicate the state of the environment. Though Norway's sea eagles are thriving, in other countries poisons like mercury and DDT in fish food chains are killing eagles and preventing breeding. In Sweden, many tons of clean food are put out for them in winter, but eagles are still shot and their nests raided. Here in Scotland, Erin, one of the eagles, was found killed by poisoned bait. But if general attitudes continue to change in the eagle's favour, it could be that one day Scotland will hold a major proportion of Europe's sea eagles, which would be a triumphant end to a truly international effort on behalf of a truly magnificent bird.